Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, along with J.R. Cochran. I'm Lyle Stokes, and J.R., our guest, has not made it home from work yet, but he will be joining us in just a little bit, and that'll give you and I some time to go over a few things that we haven't talked about.
Sounds good.
How's the weather out in your neck of the woods?
It's a little muggy, a lot of rain, although I think the rain has finished now. But yeah, muggy. It's getting hot. You can tell summer is just around the corner.
I got to tell you, I worry about this every year. I feel like once the rain stops, it's just about a week, and then the hot weather's here to stay.
Yep.
You know, you're just going to have to deal with either being wet, or you're going to have to deal with the heat. And if it means I get to go out and go fishing, I'll take it either way.
It wouldn't be so bad if the fish weren't going on the nest.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But now you have been out fishing.
I have.
For alternative species, but you're on them.
I fished for catfish this weekend. I went down to Santee, and I caught 20 catfish, and I didn't get the one I was after, but had a good time. Went by myself on my kayak, and it was a good trip.
That's awesome, man. Now, you didn't fish a local lake, if I understand correctly?
I do. I fish Lake Wiley a lot.
Yeah, but you did it this past weekend.
Yeah, this past weekend I went down to Santee Cooper, which is about 5 hours from here.
Right. That's awesome. Well, Santee's well known for having great fish, but it's just like any place else. You don't always get the big ones, but
that's right. Yep.
If you're catching them and having a good time, hey.
I'm not doing good on my trophy fishing here lately. That's part of it. That's the life of a trophy fisherman.
That's exactly right. So how's the axle on the boat going?
Well, it finally came after almost a month, and I took it. I went yesterday. It actually came right before I left to go to Santee, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to wait, and I'll put it on when I get back. And so I got back home Sunday and took the axle over there yesterday, and I got it setting under the trailer. I had to go get 4 bolts, which I went and got today after work to attach the leaf springs. And now I just have to get these nylon bushings, and then I'll be able to put her on there. It'll take a minute.
Yep. If you don't put them nylon bushings in, anything will squeak and raise hell and make all kinds of racket and rust. And
yep.
I've been through all that stuff, so you're better off
just in time. I got it fixed just in time for the spawn.
Well, you know what? There. You'll have it rearing, rocking, ready to roll when they come off that nest. Old JR be sitting there waiting for them.
You said that right. July will be a good month for JR.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it'll be a good month for a lot of us, and I think that after a long, hard winter. And all the stuff that's went on all spring and all the stuff that's going on right now, I think them catfish coming off the nest for all people that you and I know and deal with will be a really good thing about the 1st of July.
Absolutely.
So
July 4th.
That's July 4th weekend is usually the start of everything getting ready to rock around.
That's the way it's been for us for the past couple of years. July 4th, and time to go.
I'm always looking forward to that, but unless there's a tournament someplace that we're going to attend, we usually give them the weekends like that. Cindy and I fish through the week. That way we don't have to deal with the crazies and all that. But if they're coming off the nest and the fishing's good, I might have to deal with it. If you can find a place. One of the things, I think we've talked about this, but one of the things that surprised me this year is with everybody being off of work and everything, the parking lots at these ramps are just unbelievably full almost every day.
They are.
And I think that people are enjoying their time off. I'm not sure how much social distancing they're doing in those boats, and I don't care. I think with everything else that's happening right now, that's kind of a thing of the past compared to the way it was a month ago.
Hopefully they get it all out of their systems. So
yeah, that'd be great if that all
post-spawn, it'll just be
That's right.
have the lake to ourselves.
That's exactly right. We got a bunch of people in chat tonight. Matthew Baker and Catfish Headhunters, Zach Stanley, Finseeker TV, John Patrick III, Jay's Catfishing. There's Mike Greenwell, Betty Jean Cross, Mike Irvin, Palmetto Cats. Let's see, Fishing with the Chad.
Love that
Outdoor
name.
Addiction. Yeah, me too. Jason Lamb. Let's see, Junior Proctor's in there. Hey, there's New School Fishing.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I see where Michael Shannon Anderson. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's a Southeastern tournament fisherman, and he is he's the pastor. He's pastor of a church, and
cool.
So he's really good friends with the bait guy around here, Jamie K Outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And so he put out a video. Michael Shannon Anderson did. I should just say Michael Anderson. I have a bad habit of calling people by their first, middle, and last name. But anyways, he made this video of Jamie K Outdoors, and it's a pretty good video.
I watched it this morning.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. Yeah. It's very nicely done. It really was.
Yeah,
James.
It's cool to see guys making videos and getting into that filmmaking scene.
Especially when they do a nice job on it, and that was done very nicely. Patriot Catfishers of America, be sure to tune in to James on Wednesday nights. There's Team Wampus Cat Outdoors. Have I missed anybody? I probably have, but it goes pretty quick. It's just these nights have really taken off. We're doing Mondays, and Stacy and Joey are doing Tuesdays. James is doing Wednesdays. I forgot who's doing Thursdays, and then Avid Outdoors is Friday, and I forgot who done one Saturday night. They was live. Oh, well, Chunky, and then Palmetto's on Sunday nights.
Palmetto, yeah.
Enjoy so many of them, but they're going to have to start staggering them. You know what I mean? Different times throughout the day. It's
definitely plenty of content out there.
There is a lot of content, and one of the things, and I mentioned this before, one of the things that I like is to see guys when they start out and then watch the progression of from where they started to where they get. And some of them make great strides very quickly, and some of it takes a little bit longer, but the ones that figure it out usually have really good content. And some of them don't want to grow. They just want to kind of be the way they are. And that's okay too. But some of them that I've watched started out and they you could tell that they didn't really know what was happening, but they wanted to do it. And within a short period of time, they was doing very well. And I enjoy that a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad to see that. There's Bank Pole Joe.
You'd think we'd run out of stuff to talk about, but no.
Never.
There's plenty to talk about.
You know, and Bass Guys has got 1 million fishing plugs, lures, and all kinds of tackle that they can talk about. So, you know, they're not ever going to run out, but we're limited to stuff like that. Yeah. There's only so many hook designs and so many rod designs and so many reels that actually fit our content.
Maybe we could start talking about a bait fish every week. Like 1 week we'll talk about a moon eye. 1 week we'll talk about a sucker. One week we'll talk about a gizzard shad, and just go over like every single thing that we can actually find on the internet about that particular bait species. You know, where they spawn, when they spawn, how, you know, where they migrate, their seasonal patterns, just every little detail about that bait fish.
That's a pretty good idea. I would be interested in trying to work something out on that. I know a lot of people they think that shad or skipjack or something like that is all they want to use. And myself personally, I think different times of the year, different baits work better than others.
Yeah.
I know in the wintertime and up to late spring in my area, I think that shad is the best bait that I can use. Now, once late spring, early summer gets here, I think skipjack and moon eye are the better choices. But that's not the same in every area.
Yeah. People have their confidence baits. I know you were mentioning Patriot James earlier. His confidence bait, I believe, is a largemouth bass, believe it or not.
Yep.
And Dieter's confidence bait is a gizzard shad, I think. Other than late summer, I think he might switch over to bluegill exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
And
he likes some white perch or something you guys got out there too.
Yeah, he likes the white perch, but gizzard shad are his favorite, and he uses the bluegill in the summer once I think the dog days of summer get here.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he'll use anything, but I think
I'm sure he will. I know Larry Muse will use skipjack everywhere he goes, even if it's not predominant in that area.
Yeah.
He come to a tournament we had on Lake the Ozarks a couple of years ago. I said, Larry, what do you get? Did you get you some bait? And he said, yeah, I brought it with me. I said, there is no skipjack in this lake. They don't know what it is. They're fixing to find out. And I laughed.
Yeah.
I did understand it later that somebody helped him get some big old shad down there, but he brought them. He was going to use them, and that's fine because you'll catch some fish on them. There's no question about it. They're woolly, stinky, greasy, slimy, just like any good bait that catfish like. But if they're not predominantly in that area, I believe that the natural bait, which would be shad or moon eye or creek chubs or something, I think that would be better suited for that lake than the other. But them skipjack, when they come up the river, they can't get through that Bagnell Dam at the end of Lake Ozark. They just can't get through it, So
I was watching the Chris Souders show earlier, and he mentioned they were actually using moon eye along with I want to say gizzard shad, but he said that the moon eye were a toothy bait fish.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they actually had teeth.
They're like I believe they're a lot like skipjack in the fact that they'll go up and after shad spawn, they'll go up there and try to catch all the little ones or bluegill or any small fish and try to eat them. But
so they're carnivorous.
Yep.
Much like a blueback herring, they're actually carnivorous as well.
What are your thoughts on using roe shad?
Roe shad. I'm not even sure what roe shad is. Roe is fish eggs.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never tried that. I'm not that familiar with it. Don't know, but if it'll catch fish, you have to be careful in different states using stuff like that, because one of the big delicacies of the fishing industry is spoonbill roe, and even the spoonbill guts, when they clean them on the banks, you're not allowed to use that as bait, and it's deadly bait for blue catfish on Lake Ozark and Truman, but you're not allowed to use it. It's against the law, and the fines are very hefty.
I want to say he must be talking about using the roe.
That would be my understanding.
Because I can't find a roe shad.
Daniel, I'm from Southwest Missouri. Originally from North Missouri, but reside in Southwest Missouri now. Yeah, I'll bet them Channel Cat do, yeah. Man, if Eric gets in here in a little bit, he's a driver for UPS, or he works for UPS, and he's on his way home. But he has been on some giant Channel Cat, man.
And it's cool watching him catch them, because I've caught a lot more Channel Cats than I had thought. I'll go back and watch videos, and I'll realize that, because at the time I'll assume it was a blue.
Mm-hmm.
Because once a fish gets over 10 pounds, I just assume it's a blue.
Right.
and I'll go back and watch the video, and I'll look at the anal fin, and I'll say that was a channel cat. I didn't even realize it. So, but yeah, it's cool watching someone catch such large channel cats when our channel cats they don't get that big around here.
Yep. Like I say, we don't get in now. It's probably been 10 or more years ago that Justin Wolf caught an 18-pound channel cat at a tournament we had at just up the river there, Columbia Bottoms from St. Louis, just below Alton Dam, little ways. And that was the biggest channel cat that I'd seen from the Mississippi River in years because of the commercial fishing. But it was a giant. I mean, 18-pound channel cat with the commercial fishing in any fishery, that's a stud. I was very amazed to see that, but I haven't seen one that big since. Now you get above Keokuk, there's a lot of channel cat because the blues don't go above the Keokuk Dam, and there's a ton of big channel cat up there. They have some really, really good channel cat tournaments up there. But they also have flatheads. So if it happens to be your day and you get on the flatheads, you're going to annihilate them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there'll be some 40 and 50-pound flatheads. But a lot of the tournaments make it specific that you can only use channel cat, or they're channel cat only tournaments.
So what is your theory on a blue and a channel cat fishery? Like, for example, Lake Wiley, when I was a kid in the 80s, we had pretty decent channel cats. You know, it wasn't uncommon to catch a teenage channel cat, you know, anywhere from 12 to, 15 pounds. That is impossible. That's virtually unheard of now since blues were introduced in the 90s. Now it's pretty much I guess you could call it a trophy blue catfish lake, but nothing but small channel cats now.
I think that they eat the same feed, the same stuff, and I think that keeps the channel cats from being able to grow. Captain Eric.
Hey,
Eric.
What's going on?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Delivering packages all day, serving the public.
We was just talking about the fish you've been catching, and of all places, you live in New York, and most people don't relate New York to catfish, but I've been following you for some time, and you have been on them.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to get this camera to stay up here. Stupid
We'll make
phone.
it work.
Man.
Eric, I was telling Lyle a little bit ago, he didn't realize that you were a world record holder.
Yeah, of length of a channel catfish. It's just the IGFA record, which it's a record, but there are probably bigger ones.
Right.
It's just the IGFA. I beat their record.
Yeah, I did not know that. He was telling me that, and I thought, wow, he's a world record holder. I didn't even know it.
I'm the state record holder with a 35.3 pound channel cat. The previous record was 32 pounds.
Oh,
nice.
So I beat it by 3.5 pounds.
Yeah, we got a celebrity on here tonight, Lyle.
I guess so, man.
Hey, it's good to meet you guys. Good to see you, and I'm glad to be on.
Absolutely. You too. Like I say, I've been following you for a long time because people make fun of me because most of the tournaments where we go, you got to catch blues to win. Now, once in a while, we'll go to an area where a flathead or two will do you some good. But most all the tournaments that we fish are terminally blue catfish is what it takes to win. And we have to go up north to get into the good catfish. And I dearly love channel cat tournaments. And one of the reasons is because the weigh-ins can be separated by ounces. And the other thing about them is normally you can catch the crap out of them. You know, you catch a lot of fish and have a really fun time. But people don't like the big fish fishermen don't like to fish for channel cat. Me, I just want to catch the biggest fish that's in any body I'm fishing.
Well, that's the way I am too. Like the channel cats are one of the biggest fish in Lake Ontario,
And
you
that's the
can
lake
catch,
you're fishing?
and you can catch a lot of them. It's not like you're catching 1 or 2 20-pound salmon. You're catching 20-pound catfish on a consistent basis, maybe 8 to 10 fish a day, where it's harder to catch fish that big. And I mean, I've had 25-pounders become common.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eric, I was watching one of your videos, and when you pulled in, I think it was like a 27-pounder, and I got a glimpse of the bait, and I could have swore it looked like you had like a squirrely tail, like something on there, like an artificial something. No?
No, it's probably just the cut bait, the skin coming off it or something.
The skin, okay.
Yeah.
So
I was like, man, I know he doesn't have a trailer on there.
What kind of bait are you using up there?
Just local panfish. I used to just go out and do some pan fishing before I went over to my catfish hole, and I'd catch perch and sunfish, and I'd cut them up and I'd slam them all day. So that's all you really need to do. I mean, you buy worms, catch your own bait, and then go catch them.
That makes for a fun day of fishing, JR. You catch your bait, which I love pan fish anyhow, and then you go out, cut them up, and catch the crap out of catfish.
You tend to have more success when you do that.
Oh, I mean, you're having fun. It's always better.
If you go buy bait, that bait has been caught and then stored. It's been out of the native water for God knows how long.
Absolutely.
Whenever you catch your own bait, especially the day that you're going fishing, it doesn't get any fresher.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they prefer the fresh bait. If you guys are catfishermen, you know.
Absolutely.
I tried rotting it in the bags and making it stinky and all that crap. They didn't want it. They want the fresh stuff. I learned that a long time ago.
There might be some times throughout the year that you'll have a good day with stuff like that, but overall, they want it the fresher they can get it.
Exactly.
I believe that, and I don't care which kind of catfish you're fishing for. They want the freshest stuff they can get, and within reason, the biggest chunk that they can reasonably handle.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've caught them on 13-inch silver bass. I have a pole. I call it Big Blue. It's a huge pole. I didn't realize it was that big. It's one of those ones that fold up. And I put a 13-inch silver bass on a bobber and just casted it out. And this channel cat swiped at it, and it missed it. I seen it come right out of the water. The channel cat. I go, it's going to come back. I go, give it 5 minutes. It came back. It slammed that friggin' fish, and it was a 25-pound channel. And
wow.
Their heads and their mouths are so big. They can obviously eat pretty much anything they want. I've caught them with huge, like 12-inch perch in their mouths, and they ate my bait in their friggin' tail sticking out of their mouth.
They pulled the bait with a big bait already in them.
Yeah, he had a 13-inch perch or 12-inch perch in him.
Channel cats are so
my
mean.
Bait. It was so weird.
Mean. They are pound for pound. I think they fight harder than a blue pound for pound.
Oh yeah, I think so.
You can find them pictures on my Northern New York Catfish Hunter Charters Facebook page. There's all kinds of pictures from years of fishing on there.
Why don't you tell everybody right now, and then we'll do it again at the end of the show. Tell them where they can see all the information about your guide service and the videos and the pictures that you've got about those giant channel cats.
My YouTube channel is Eric Scordo, my name, ERICSCORDO. My Facebook page, it's NNY Catfish Hunter Charters. There's all kinds of stuff on there. I started that page before I even became a captain. Years ago, I started fishing channels around here, and nobody did it. I would just take my friends and let them catch them. And when they caught them, they're like, oh, my God, these fish are amazing. They're so strong. And then 10 years later, I finally was able to go get my captain's license and actually start getting paid for taking people fishing, because I love doing it. I love seeing them catch the fish. That's what I like. I've caught plenty. But I love seeing a new person catch that channel for the first time and go, oh, my God, I didn't realize these fish were that strong and that big. I didn't even know these were around here, they tell me.
Yeah.
That's
That's why I do it.
you know, I enjoy. I don't, not that I want to be a guide because I'm too way past that, but there's something about watching somebody else catch a big fish. And the other thing that is amazing is when you tell them about turning the fish back loose and they look at you like there's something wrong with you, but yet when they release that fish and watch it swim away, and then they turn around, their smile's this big, because they know that thing's there. They come back and get it if they get the opportunity. And those are the two things that light me up a lot, is watching somebody else catch a great fish and then the smile on their face when it swims away. Because I'm telling you that everybody, you can eat any fish that you catch, but knowing you released a giant and it's still there to be caught again, there's something about that. And people don't realize how important it is to them until you watch them release a big fish, and they turn around and they're hooked on turning them loose at that point.
You should have seen what I went through to keep the state record alive after I caught it. I caught that fish on a Friday night at about 7:30. The only place you could weigh it in was the hardware, and they closed at 6. So they didn't open till the next day. So I had to keep the fish alive till the next day to go weigh it in and get it officially measured and all that stuff. Then the biologist that had to confirm the species from DEC didn't even come into work till Monday.
Oh, wow.
I had Chameau Bay Marina offer me their bait tank so I could keep that friggin' 35-pound channel catfish alive until Monday so I could release it alive. I did everything I could. I did not want to kill that fish.
That fish lost some weight overnight.
Yeah.
It actually, well, you're right. I've heard that too, but on my scales in the boat, it was weighing 34 pounds. And when I put it on the official scale, it weighed 35.3. I was excited. There's an actual video. If you Google me weighing in the channel catfish, it's on the internet. You can see me weighing it in and going nuts when I do it.
That's awesome. I'll have to check.
I know my girlfriend was there with me, my fiance, and she was laughing at me. But boy, that's your fish. That's your fish that you love, and you caught the state record. There's nothing that beats that, really.
I agree.
Maybe the fish he had held it in captivity so long that it actually put the weight back on.
Well, that's possible, I guess. I know we weighed a big one down in Memphis, and it lost several pounds.
I weighed it the next morning. As soon as that hardware store opened up, I went there. So it was already weighed and stuff, so it had to go overnight is all that had to go. But then the DEC guy had to confirm it on Monday, the species of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else it would have been, but
did he know right away? They know what species. Okay.
Oh yeah, because we only have channel catfish in New York State, so
you don't have
not
or nothing else, do you?
No, there's a white catfish, but I don't even know what that is. Like some little thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they're pretty tiny.
Yeah.
Well, I think they get a little bit bigger than that. I think they're pretty similar to a channel cat. They don't get as big.
Yeah, but I think they get like the size of a big bullhead. That's about it.
I like bullheads too.
Guys around here will catch them, and you won't even think that it's a white catfish because you think white catfish, you think it would actually be white, but they actually have to count the spines or the whatever you call them and the fin.
Yep.
They look like bullhead pretty much.
I caught something up in Minnesota when I was up there at Cat's Incredible that year. They called it a stone cat. And they're,
never heard of
I don't know, about 6 or 8 inches long for a big one. And most of them are smaller now. I caught mine. Hell, he was about that long. I caught him on an 8-aught hook. I could.
Does it have whiskers?
Yeah, they look just like it. They look like a little bullhead. But
it's like an aquarium catfish.
Yeah, but
I'm flipping myself all around here. Don't mind me. Trying to get the best angle here.
Nah, you're good. Audio is the most important thing anyways, and you sound great. So
you do have great.
There we go.
Now we're talking. All right, guys. If you have any questions for Eric, now is a great time to get them out there. Eric, what kind of equipment are you using?
I use ugly sticks, medium heavy,
There you go.
6'7", and I use the longer ones too, the medium actions. That's fun, and I'm using tight line reels, which you can't really get around here in New York. I had to order them offline. They're more of a C type reel because it's a bigger spinning reel, but it's
Okay.
not too big. I don't want it too big, and I use 20-pound Berkeley Tri-Lean big game. Boy, that stuff is phenomenal.
It is
Yeah.
a great line.
Now, what did
Oh,
you say
my
the
God.
name of the spinning reels were? Tight line?
Tight line, yeah.
I've never heard of them.
I haven't either.
I
have to
haven't.
check those out.
I found it, and it's perfect. So it's for
Awesome.
a spinning reel. Yeah.
Yep, that's the new one. I mean, what kind of boat are you fishing out of?
For 2 years, I chartered out of a 15-foot bow rider that I turned into a catfish machine. I tore the, you know how they have the back-to-back seats on either side? I tore them right out. I put swivel seats in it so you could drive, and then opened up the floor in the back, and I put 6 rod holders across the back. I put wood down and wood up the sides, and I put rod holders in each side, and then 4 in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 6 rod holders. So
That's the
that's
boat
what I
you were
did for
fishing
2
out
years.
of. I was just watching.
Yeah. It was the little one. Now I got the big 22-foot. It's like a Grady White. It's called a Cimarron. It's just a generic version of a Grady White.
Yeah.
It's a center console, open floor, outboard, so the whole floor is open.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the rod holders in it, and I finally got the boat that I wanted to use to charter. I was worried about it going in the shallower water, but I'm getting into the spots, and I'm not having any problems.
Yeah, I mean, it probably drafts around 2 feet or so.
Right.
So you
as
are
long
able
as
to get
Lake
up into,
Ontario doesn't go way down like it was before it got way too high. It used to be way too low. It was ridiculous. You couldn't even access boat launches and stuff. And once the water came back up, you were able to go up like a Muskellunge Creek again and put your boat in there. Before it was drying right up into the cattails.
Now that's probably a perfect boat for you. You probably wouldn't want a flat bottom John boat like a lot of these reservoir guys use.
Well, that's the thing with Lake Ontario. You get some big
yeah.
waves. I mean,
exactly.
I want to be able to go out in the big water too and fish for salmon and stuff like that, which I'm going to eventually do. And I got the downriggers and everything on this boat.
Awesome.
But yeah, catfish is that's my favorite thing.
So. Well, I don't want to change the subject from catfishing since we're talking about catfish, but do you guide for different species?
Oh yeah, I'll do anything. I do smallmouth bass. I've got a lot of people on some good smallmouths. Catfish. I'm gonna get into some more things. I can do whatever I want. I'm a 100-ton captain. I drove tour boat for Clayton Island Tours on the St. Lawrence River for 2 years and earned my 100-ton. So I'm prepared for the big water. I've drove 65-foot tour boats. I'm ready to take them out there and get them.
I would think salmon fishing would get you a lot of business.
Well, yeah. I mean, it'd be a whole new ball game. Yeah. And I would love to do it, but geez, I need time to do it. I only got weekends now. UPS is through the roof with the coronavirus, so.
Well, you have commercial fishermen for the salmon up there, don't you?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind just a couple here and there. I don't need the whole week book, Like I said, I just do weekends. If there was the catfish are only a couple months out of the year, so when April, May, and June, the catfish spawn and go back out into the lake, and they're not as easy to catch. I could start doing other things,
Okay, yeah.
That would be great.
All right, I haven't seen too many questions yet.
Where's this being broadcasted?
I'm sorry?
Where's it being broadcasted at?
It's broadcast on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube on Lloyd Stokes' page?
Catfish Weekly.
Oh, Catfish Weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And it'll load up as soon as we're done for people to watch from now on.
Cool. And I can share this and stuff, right?
Absolutely. In
Absolutely.
fact, anybody that's watching right now can share this so their buddies can watch it. And if you get a chance, go ahead and like us on Facebook and
Oh yeah, definitely. You can like my page too. So it's Lyle Stokes and who's the other?
J.R.
J.R. Cochran.
All right, great to meet you guys. Great to
Good to
talk
meet you, Eric.
Appreciate you
And
having me.
Lyle, I was right. His name is pronounced Scordo.
Yes.
Yeah, we were trying to
From,
decide if it was Sordo or Scordo.
From Calabria, Italy. My family is from
Calabria, Italy.
Calabria, Italy. They came over just after World War One.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Italy.
That's all. Not to change the subject, but my dad was in World War II, and he was stationed in Italy. And before he died, that's the one thing he always wanted to do, go back there. He said it's the most beautiful place he was ever at in his life. And of course, that never happened, but it would be neat to go over there and see some of the stuff that he done. But now I'd never be able to remember or find any of the stuff he talked about. But that was his passion was to get a chance to go back over there during a non-war time, and he says just absolutely gorgeous in Italy.
Oh, I bet.
Of course, that was in the 1940s too.
There's some big catfish over in Italy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. I bet.
I think the Wales catfish is over in Italy.
I believe so.
Yeah, those things are.
So, yeah, they're all over the Europe.
I don't know if I want those over here. That's just too big.
I don't even. They look like a kind of like an eel to me. I like the channel cats and the blue cats and the flatheads and like the red tail. The red tail is one I would love to catch.
That's
They're
a bucket
beautiful
list.
fish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fish for sure.
I would love to go down red tailing.
Oh yeah, those things are beautiful.
The trips for them that I found was you go for a week, you stay on a houseboat, and they take you out in smaller boats every morning, and you fish for them all day, and you come back in, and they wine you and dine you on the houseboat as it travels up and down the river. And I just think that would be a blast unless mosquitoes were so big you couldn't fend them off.
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing I'd worried about. But, yeah, I'd love to go down and South America and catch some big red tails.
Yeah,
and they're not the biggest one down there. There's bigger catfish in South America than a red tail, but I don't believe there's anything as beautiful as they are.
Yeah,
I bet what's his name? He would take Skipjack down there, target.
Gary Muse, absolutely. Yeah. If they'd let him take them, he sure would. I guarantee it. So do you fish any tournaments at all, Eric?
There's no tournaments around here.
No tournaments around there.
I ran one. Well, I had a friend that ran a bait shop. He ran it, but I set it all up. And I think like 6 guys entered it. I ended up catching a 28-pounder that won it. But the closest other one was 24, which back then, those were huge fish because nobody was catching 30s. This was 10 years ago. And we didn't start catching 30-pound catfish until maybe 6 years ago. I started seeing 30-pounders. I've never seen them. They keep getting bigger.
Yeah.
This year's been different, though. I haven't seen anybody get a 30-pounder. It's weird.
Have regulations up there so that the fish
Nope.
can go like you don't?
Not on catfish. They're not a sport fish. And that's the big reason a lot of people don't respect them and fish for them.
That's one of the things that these guys preaching about this regulations. I've been told and been told and been told, and I've told these guys, and they just know Caprende, unless catfish is a sport fish in your state, you can forget about any more regulations. You're not going to get them. They've all told me that. And if you want regulations, you get them made a sport fish. You start with that and go from there. It's just not going to happen unless you do.
As far as Lake Ontario is concerned, like Eric said, once they come in and spawn, once they move out back deep in that body of water, they're probably pretty hard to catch, aren't they, Eric?
What they do is once the water temperature levels out and hits a certain temperature and they're done spawning, they just go everywhere. They just feed. They're not in one particular area. They're combing the weed beds. They're swimming all over the place. You could cast off ashore from your cottage and catch them at night. You get lucky. I've done it in two different cottages. Just toss the line out in the middle of July and you catch one because they're just swimming around the lake eating. That's all they're doing.
You say cottages? Are you talking about cottages for rent that are on the lake?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And you see what they do in the spring is they come into the shallows where the water is warmer and the mud bottoms and spawn, and then they're congregated in there so you can hammer them. If you know where they are, you know where they migrate every year, then you can just wait and set up on them. And now is when you really get them. But once they're done and they go out, they're very hard to catch. You can't just target them. You have to. You get lucky and catch one.
Yeah.
People catch them fishing for salmon and trout and stuff. They hit their rapalas and everything. My buddies that run other charter businesses, hey, Scordo, here's a catfish. Look at this son of a gun. You know what I mean? Because they get one on out there in 100 foot of water, and they think they got the biggest salmon they ever caught in their life on the rod and reel. They flip right out. And then they get it up the surface like, it's a catfish. Oh, my God. And they're like so surprised because it fights so hard. They think they got a massive northern or something. But nope, it's just a 25-pound catfish that'll rip your drag right off your reel. Yeah. They can't believe it.
Palmetto Cats wants to know, is it expensive to get your captain's license?
It's, I mean, I had to pay for hotels every weekend. It was like 6 weekends, so I paid for a hotel and drove back and forth. I think it's like around $500 or so.
I didn't know what the cost was.
It's not bad.
Michael Murillo, how you doing?
Who's on there?
Michael Murillo. I think he's asking me if I speak Spanish, but I do not. So I wouldn't know if that's what he's actually saying or not. But yeah, so is there any tributaries or a lot of tributaries that dump into the lake?
Oh, yeah, the Black River runs into Lake Ontario. That's the main river. And then it exits the St. Lawrence River. So you got the St. Lawrence connected in the Black River. And there's lots of streams and stuff that go into it. But those are the two main.
Do you fish the river portions of the lake then?
Yeah, the St. Lawrence I fished quite a few times. Black River, where the river meets the lake, is a very good spot. So I fish in there a lot. Yeah. Where the dams are up by the dams come in, they create current. The catfish sit in the deep holes throughout the current. And
awesome.
Yeah.
So you fish do you fish the Black River side of Ontario?
Yes, Eastern Basin. Okay. They're all over though. I mean, I'm just touching the surface. Like people, if people, they're everywhere. People could hammer them like I do on the other side of the lake. I mean, nobody fishes them. That's why the fishery's so good. And I've made the mistake of showing a couple people. Now they come from Pennsylvania with their fancy boats and set up on my spots and catch all my fish. But what am I going to do? You know,
that's the way it goes.
I used to have it all to myself because nobody around here even gives a crap.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. I love it.
Does the local people up there, do they not keep any for eating or anything?
They might, but there's just not a lot of people that fish for them. They fish for bass or walleye or pike or muskie.
That just makes it that much better for you, it looks to me.
I know. I know it. But now that I'm chartering and guiding, you take the wrong people a couple times. That really kind of hurts you a little bit. But
it does. It does.
A lot of people will get a guide just to learn your spot.
Yep. Yeah.
I agree.
The ultimate Guggen.
Yep.
They'll be out there the next weekend waving at
you.
Yep. Exactly. And I'll set right up next to them. And I'll cast right around their boat. Catch them all right out from under their feet. Because guess what? That's my spot.
Yeah.
They hate that.
Well, that's, it is what it is. That's part of the chance you take
I know it.
when you set up on a place where somebody has taken you before. There's been a lot of guys, tournament fishermen, that really get butthurt over that. They take somebody fishing, they go take them to a spot, and then the next tournament, they're not fishing with them, they're fishing with somebody else. And when they get to that spot, the other guy that they showed that spot to is sitting in it. And they get all bent about it. And I'm thinking, you should have never took him there if you didn't want to show it.
Yep.
Won't you show it to him? That's perfect brown.
You have to learn that the hard way.
That's right.
In other states, such as like Pennsylvania, for instance, where they have the big tournaments and shit, there's so much drama.
Right.
I don't ever want that drama.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deal with it. And I want to enjoy fishing. I don't want the drama. So I try not to let the stuff bother me. But I know exactly what you mean, because I know guys that hate it. They get so scared of people knowing their spots. They don't want any pictures shown. They black out all the backgrounds. I mean, they're so nervous
all the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Social media.
I'm not interested in none of that. Hey, Fishing with the Chad says, JR, are you interested in chartering?
No, not at this point. I don't catch enough fish to charter.
I'd
be giving away. I would have to let them come back and give them a free trip. I wouldn't be able to make any money.
As I get, or I ever wanted to be, was for the Fishing for Freedom tournament every year. We take a military guy or gal out, and I take them, and they don't have to do anything except reel in fish. I'll do everything else. One day for 4 hours that day every year. Now, this year we didn't get to have it because of the COVID-19, but that's as close to chartering as I ever want to do. I'll do that for 4 hours one day a year, every year. And other than that, you're baiting your own hook, you're casting your own reel, and you're removing the hook from the fish. Except for Cindy, I'll do hers.
Whereabouts are you located, Lyle?
I'm in Southwest Missouri.
And you come all the way up here?
No, I'd like to, though.
Oh. I thought you said you did the Fishing for Freedom tournament.
We do. It's in Quincy, Illinois, the one I did.
Okay, you have one there, too.
Yeah,
okay.
well, it's,
we have one here on the St. Lawrence that's huge.
That's awesome. I'm glad to know that. There's not a more worthwhile cause in the fishing industry, in my opinion, than Fishing for Freedom.
Yeah, they have a huge tournament here on the St. Lawrence for bass.
That's great. They do it here. You can fish for bass or crappie or catfish.
Nice. That would be great. I would love to fish catfish tournaments and make money doing it. Boy, that would be fun.
Good luck with that.
I know, right?
Even with the amount of money that's in tournament catfishing now, you'd have to win several of them a year to do any good. And the competition is just as tough in it as it is in bass or crappie or any other type of structured fishing like that for money. When you got to fish every big tournament against Jason and Daryl Massengill or Jeff Dodd or some of those guys, you better have your act together. And there's only a handful of tournaments that have a huge enough payout. And the only people that I know, in my opinion, and I've argued this with several people, the only professional fishermen are people that make their living fishing. And the only people I know that make their living fishing are guides and people in the industry like that, not fishermen.
Right.
I don't know anybody wins enough tournaments that can say that that's all they do is tournament fish for a living. So they're, in my opinion, they're not professionals. Now, a guide, he makes his living doing that. He's a professional. That's a difference. And there's only full-time guides that do it year-round for a living. There's only a handful of those guys.
I mean, I don't have any tournaments around here. I'm just saying the little extra incentive to be able to make money while you're fishing, it makes it that much more exciting for you.
Exactly.
I'm not saying live on it or anything like that, but
Right.
Just the opportunity to win some money catfishing would be, I'd love that.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and we've enjoyed it for a long time. But I got to tell you, and I've mentioned this to a lot of other people, sitting around the motels for a week while you're pre-fishing and enjoying the camaraderie with everybody else that comes to those big tournaments, that's as much fun as fishing the tournament. Because you get to know them. They become friends. You see them 3, 4, 5 times a year, and you become extremely good friends. And that, to me, is some of the better times.
It is. Somebody's always got a grill, and they're
or you go out to we do a lot of that. We go out to dinner. Carl Wells, I see him's in there, so didn't have to travel too far. But Carl and his wife Sandy, they're great friends of ours. They live in Texas. We see them 2 or 3 times a year. And Sonny Parker just made a comment. Can you show me your favorite fishing spots? Call me up. I'll tell you where they're at, Sonny. But Cindy and I fished a winter tournament with him a couple years ago. And Sonny is great. I consider him a great friend, and we just had a blast. Didn't do any good in the tournament. In fact, I'm not sure if we caught a fish, but we had a great time. And it started out rough with the windshield being froze over, but we had a wonderful time. And that's the part of fishing that has become so enjoyable for me. And I like catching them, but like I say, I just watch somebody catch them at this point. And if I catch a good one, that's great. And if I don't, I'm happy.
Eric, what's your favorite bait?
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. Now is that the
gonna
catch
buy that
your
one?
bait?
No, I'm just kidding. My favorite bait is a sucker.
Okay.
Now,
cut up
you
sucker.
have great big suckers up there.
Oh yeah, 5-pounders.
Wow.
Wow.
Johnny.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a 5-pound sucker.
When I was up in,
my buddy caught one that's 7 pounds.
Oh geez.
I'm not kidding you.
What's the record sucker?
I don't know. It's not that big, but my buddy brought me a bunch of them one time in a cooler, and I'm pulling them out, going, Jesus, these things are huge. I weighed one, and it was like friggin' almost 7 pounds. I'm like, what the hell? You think it's a carp? I'm like, are those things carp? And he's like, no, they're suckers. I'm like, what the heck?
We was at Cat's Incredible up there, and I was buying them from a guy that was catching them and selling them at the Cabela store right there by the ramp. And I said, man, where you get them at? He said, we catch them in a creek down here. I said,
that's where I get mine.
Every day. And I bought some to bring home. And
that's what I do. I fill up a chest freezer in my garage.
Well,
I'll go out when they're running. Oops, sorry.
That's okay. I was trying to bring some home live, and they got too hot in the live well coming from Minnesota, Missouri. Because I just knew nobody believed me when I told them how big them damn things was.
The new state record for white sucker was set by Joshua Wagner of Bath, New York, who caught a 5-pound, 8-ounce fish from Cold Brook in Steuben
I told
County.
my buddy, I go, you probably broke the sucker state record, and I'm cutting it up and using it as bait.
Oh, I bet records are caught every day, and people just don't realize.
Oh, the suckers.
Yeah.
Nobody does the suckers, really.
That's awesome.
Nobody thinks of it.
That's kind of a dubious honor.
We do have a tournament. It's called
record sucker here.
The New York State Summer Classic. The New York State Summer Classic has a catfish division, and I've won it the last couple of years, and that's everybody in the state. And you can all kinds of different fish, but that's a 2-month tournament, and the biggest fish wins it. They have a tournament, New York State Summer Classic. So that's
I think Eric would do pretty good in tournaments. I think he would. He needs to come on down here and whip some of these guys. Some of these guys around here, they got the big head.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't know where to go though. That's the thing. Like here, I know everywhere to go because I've been doing it since I was 12 years old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lake Wiley compared to Lake Ontario, I'm sure that would just be like fishing a little small area for you.
Probably so.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Lake Wiley's 12,000 acres. That's slightly smaller than Ontario.
There's nothing I love more than going to a foreign place and catching my favorite fish. or a different species of catfish and seeing it for the first time. Boy, I love that.
JR,
I go to Pennsylvania and catch flatheads.
I was just
and
getting
I've
ready
caught,
to say.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys
Jason Miller
watching,
takes me.
just to give y'all an idea of how big Lake Ontario is, 4.6 million acres.
4.6
Our
million.
biggest lake in North Carolina is Lake Norman, and it's 33,000 acres. So
There's
there you
got to
go.
be. I'm telling you, that's why these catfish are so big. Think about they have so much food and area. There's got to be a 40-pounder out there somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
I believe so.
I'm sure there is. Now, do you have gobies up there?
Oh yeah.
Do the catfish eat those too? I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think they'd eat anything that is small they get in their mouth. They do here anyhow. But I've seen bass guys talk about that. You never see any catfish guys talk about gobies, and I just wondered if they did eat them. I don't know. Do you guys use throw nets, cast nets to get bait?
No, I just use
Catch them?
hook and sinker and try to catch them.
Okay. Because
In the
here we
creeks when they're
shad, the
spawning.
only way you can get them is in a cast net because they don't eat anything.
What do the suckers hit? They hit night crawlers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went up to the Potomac River in Washington after blue cats one time, and we did that net. We casted and caught the shad and the whitefish, whatever the hell they call them. I don't even know. I'm so tired from working so much. Oh my God. I came right home, got out with you guys. I haven't even ate dinner yet.
Well, man, well, we appreciate it. I knew that it would be an experience to have you on here because, like I say, first off, nobody puts New York State in affiliation with catfish. And I've been following you for a long, long time. And I see the fish you put in the boat. Now, man, everybody is on a kick right now about talking about these giant channel cat. I don't know anybody catches any more big ones than you do. And from New York, it would just be a lot of fun to get you on here. But I didn't know you as a UPS driver and all that. But I still wanted to do it if you wanted to, and I'm so glad that you did.
I appreciate you coming on there.
I was looking forward to it. I appreciate it.
Well, it's been a blast, and why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, where you guide at, and all the specifics in case somebody wants to make a trip to New York and go fishing with you.
All right. I am located in Watertown, New York. You can get a hold of me at NNY Catfish Hunter Charters on the web.com. I don't know. They say they changed my whatever it is, but I don't know. Anyways, and my Facebook page, NNY Catfish Hunter Charters. You can always find me on the Facebook page. I think it's a URL or something. On my website, they're saying it expires or something. I don't know. Stupid. Your name .com or .org. Right, you know what I mean? I've had .com for years, so I think it's NNY. Yeah,
NNY Catfish Hunter.
Google, Eric Scordo. If you Google Eric Scordo, you'll see all kinds of records and fish stories. And I was in magazines all the way to Hawaii. I mean, I couldn't believe the people that. Yeah, because when New York State blew up my record, my state record, it went friggin' everywhere, like worldwide, because New York is a huge fisher, they're a big shot city, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the city,
but
when New York does something, it gets out there.
Yeah.
And they really pushed it because it was right at the beginning of the fishing season, and they wanted everybody to see that there was a state record. And New York fisheries are great, and you can catch huge fish. So they really pushed my state record.
I think the next time I catch a big fish, I'm gonna title the video New York something.
Matthew Baker.
I couldn't believe it.
Lives in Watertown.
Who does?
Matthew Baker says his aunt lives in Watertown. He'll be making a trip up that way.
Nice.
He needs to get a hold of you, and you guys go fishing, man.
Yeah, check out my Facebook page.
Heck
NNM and NY Catfish Hunter Charters.
Now,
on
what about
Facebook.
your videos and all that stuff? Where can they find
That's
that?
Eric Scordo on YouTube.
On YouTube.
ERICSCORDO.
Well,
And you can
I
just find
promise
them.
you guys, if you haven't seen some of the videos and some of the pictures that Eric's got up, you need to go check them out. If you like giant channel cat, the man has got some really cool videos and pictures of some of the largest channel cat most of you have ever seen. Now, there's some people out there that's caught some bigger ones and seen some bigger ones, but for the average guy that likes to catch channel cats, you'll never see anything like it. They're huge. I've been following it for years and enjoyed every minute of it. Paul,
I appreciate it, guys. I'm on like 3% here on my phone. So
wow.
Perfect timing. Hey, that was perfect timing.
Whether you want to or not.
No, if it dies, that's what happens. But
thanks for coming on, Eric. Hopefully we'll have you on again
one of these days if you want to, and we'll talk about it some more.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to keep in touch and do it again sometime.
Sounds great. Keep knocking them big ones out, and I'll keep watching.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck fishing.
Eric. Absolutely. What a great guy to have on the show, JR.
Absolutely.
Man, he's got it going on up there in New York. I've actually have some cousins that live in Ontario, which is kind of just above New York in Canada. And I keep saying I'm going to go up there. Of course, I always wanted to go up there and bear hunt, but I'm thinking I can go up there and visit Debbie and bum around with her for a few days and drop by Eric's on the way up or on the way back or both. And
that's just a perk of doing this show is, if you have anyone on that happens to be, on your route to go somewhere, a year in the future, 2 years in the future, you can give them a shout. And
absolutely.
hook up with them.
Absolutely. Man, what a great show. JR, it's been a great night. Thanks a bunch for being in here. Glad everybody watched. When you're on Facebook, like Catfish Weekly's Facebook page, and be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd appreciate it a great deal. For JR Cochran, I'm Lyle Stokes, and we'll see everybody next Monday night on Catfish Weekly.
Good night.